Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Saturday. Covering the SEC here. Going to be covering all of the major conferences, so check that out. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video. I will have a parlay and teaser that I do like. I'll keep that at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. 13 matchups, a lot of action on the board here. Go ahead and like and subscribe, guys. Support the channel. You guys have been awesome. And just a FYI, if you guys are seeing this in time, My Bookie is doing a boosts on 3 different matchups today. 2 of them are in the SEC. You're going to be able to get like 6 points off the spread, which is awesome. And you're going to get it at the same price, minus 110. They're doing the boost. You can put a maximum of $25. They're pretty much going to hit. It's going to be the spread in the Georgia game and the Bama game. You can get Bama minus 13.5, and then the Georgia game over 44.5. I think both of those are going to hit. Could be a free $50 right there for you guys, or 47, 48, whatever it ends up being. You can get. Could be free money. So go ahead and check that out in the link below. That is My Bookie. You want it? Don't miss out on the boost. It's a really awesome promo that they do occasionally. Going to get into it. A lot of matchups. Going to start with the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks versus the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky opening up as big favorites at minus 31. Monroe plus 31 with the over-under at 54. These teams have played 4 times. Kentucky winning, 4-0 in those 4 matchups. Monroe 0-10 in their last 10. 0-8 on the road. 0-10 against SEC opponents. Very bad Monroe team, especially against SEC teams. Kentucky 10-2 covering at home. 16-4 when they open up as the favorite. Huge spread, but you really can't trust this Monroe team. We're going to take Kentucky minus 31 here. Next matchup, we have the Rice Owls versus the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas opening up as big favorites at minus 19.5. Rice plus 19.5 with the over-under at 49.5. These teams, let's see. Rice 5-2 covering in their last 7, 4-16 on the road. They've struggled on the road. 0-7 in their last 7 games against SEC opponents. Arkansas 9-3 covering the spread in their last 12. 3-16 in their last 19. Arkansas struggled a lot here. But they are 9-2 in their last 11 Conference USA games. I think this should be a blowout. Arkansas really needs to put it to this Rice team if they want to have any chance in this brutal West division. Going to take Arkansas minus 19.5. Next matchup, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Miami Hurricanes. Alabama opening up as 19.5 point favorites with the over-under at 61. Bama, 10-0 in their last 10. 8-2 covering the spread in their last 10. 20-0 in September. Been unbelievable. Miami, 8-3 in their last 11. They were pretty solid last year. 5-0 in September. Have struggled against the SEC, just 1-5 in the SEC. Going to be tough for Miami to open up their season. Could be a test for Bama, not playing a cupcake team to start out the season. So Miami could give them a little run, but I think it's going to be tough here. Going to stick with Bama minus 19.5. And if you sign up with Bovada, go to the boosts, you can get Bama minus 13.5 for the same price. Really good deal. So go ahead and hop into that. Next matchup, we have the Central Michigan Chippewas versus the Missouri Tigers. Missouri opening up as 14-point favorites with the over-under at 60. Central Michigan 12-5-1 covering the spread in their last 18. 0-5 against the SEC. That's kind of been their only downfall. Haven't played well in the SEC or against the SEC. Missouri, 11-0 against the Mid-American Conference teams. 5-0 covering the spread in September. This is going to be one of the easier games for Central Michigan here, or for Missouri. In that brutal SEC conference, it's going to be tough for Missouri to really get any wins. This has got to be one of their wins where they just beat up the Central Michigan team. Going to roll with Missouri. All right, next matchup, we have the LA Tech Bulldogs versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Mississippi State opening up as 23-point favorites with the over-under at 53. These teams have played 6 times. Mississippi State 4-2 in those meetings. LA Tech, 1-4 in their last 5 games against Mississippi State. 2-5 on the road. 0-8 against SEC opponents. They've struggled against SEC opponents here. Mississippi State 13-0 against the Conference USA opponents. Did struggle last year. 3-7 in their last 10. This has got to be a game that Mississippi State can beat up on this LA Tech team in that brutal Western SEC division. They really need these to get these wins out of the way. Going to take Mississippi State minus 23. Next matchup, we have the Akron Zips versus the Auburn Tigers. Auburn opening up as 37-point favorites with the over-under at 55.5. Akron, very bad Akron team. 3-15 covering the spread in their last 18. 1-19 in their last 20. 0-11 on the road. Very bad Akron team. Auburn 7-0 against Mid-American Conference teams. 6-1 at home. This is going to be that cupcake game that Auburn needs to, win by 40 or 50 in the brutal division they are in. I like Auburn minus 37. Big number, but you're going to be sweating in it if you do pick Akron plus the points here. Next matchup, we have the Eastern Illinois Panthers versus the South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina opening up as 31.5-point favorites with the over-under at 55.5. Eastern Illinois, 2-17 in their last 19, 1-14 in September. Not very good. South Carolina, definitely struggled last season. 0-6 in their last 6, 1-6 at home. 0-6 covering the spread. I mean, these two teams have been very bad. God, you would think South Carolina could cover this spread. That's a lot of points for a team that was just god-awful last season. I'm not betting on this. I mean, you can't really bet on this game. This game is awful, but I'll take the chance on Eastern Illinois plus 31.5. I think South Carolina should win this, but they're not really beating any teams by 31.5. Even a team as bad as Eastern Illinois. Give me EIU plus the points. Next matchup, we have Florida Atlantic Owls versus the Florida Gators. Florida opening up as 23.5-point favorites with the over-under at 52. These teams have played 3 times. Florida 3-0 in those matchups with a combined score of 40-12. FAU 0-11 in their last 11 games against SEC opponents. 1-5 covering in their last 5. Florida 11-1 at home, 8-0 in September. Taking Florida here minus 23.5. They should have no problem against this FAU team. Next matchup, we have the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Clemson Tigers. Clemson opening up as 3-point favorites with the over-under at 51. These teams have played 5 times. Georgia 4-1 in those 5 matchups. Looked really good. It's going to be, probably one of the best matchups on the board today, if not the best. Georgia 5-1 in their last 6. 6-1 covering the spread against ACC opponents. 14-0 in September. Clemson 20-0 in September. 5-1 against SEC opponents. I mean, this is going to be just a battle here. And if you guys sign up with My Bookie in the link below, you'll be able to get the boost for this game. Instead of the over-under at 51, you can get it at 45.5. Or no, 44.5, sorry, which I think at 44.5, it should definitely hit. Go ahead and check that out. You'll get it at the same odds, minus 115, or it's actually minus 110. So it's actually, you're getting it at a cheaper value than you are regularly. So go ahead and check that out. I mean, it's just, seems like it could be free money, which should be a high-scoring game. And I'm going to take Georgia plus 3 here. They've looked really good, and, they've dominated this series 4-1. Going to be a battle here. Should be a close one. I'll take Georgia and the points. Next matchup, we have the Eastern Tennessee State Buccaneers versus the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt opening up as 21.5-point favorites with the over-under at 48.5. These teams have played one time, Vandy winning 38-0. Eastern Tennessee State 0-8 in their last 8 games, 0-10 on the road. I mean, yeah, you really can't trust this Eastern Tennessee State team, but you really can't trust Vandy either. I mean, 0-10 in their last 10, 0-5 in their last 5 at home. 2 very bad teams. Honestly, stay away from this game. Going to take Vanderbilt minus 21.5. I mean, going to be one of the only wins they probably get this season. They should beat up on this Eastern Tennessee State team. We'll take Vandy, but really stay away from this one. Next matchup, we get the Kent State Golden Flashes versus the Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M opening up as 29.5 point favorites with the over-under at 67.5. Kent State 7-1 in their last 8, 0-8 against SEC opponents, which, you know, most teams do struggle against SEC opponents. A&M 8-0 in their last 8, 6-0 at home, 6-0 covering the spread in their last 6 week 1 matchups. They should be able to beat up all over this Kent State team. Going to roll with A&M minus 29.5. Next matchup, we had the LSU Tigers versus the UCLA Bruins. LSU opening up as 2.5 point favorites with the over-under at 65. LSU 15-5 in their last 20, 7-0 against Pac-12 conference opponents. UCLA 5-2 covering the spread in their last 7, 5-1 in their last 6 against SEC opponents. Going to be a fun matchup here. Probably a good test for LSU to start the season. It's going to be a tough for UCLA to withstand this LSU defense because they always have a really tough defense here. Only a 2.5 point spread. I'm going to take LSU here. Should be a fun one, though. And then the last matchup, we had the Louisville Cardinals versus the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss opening up as 10 point favorites with the over-under at 75.5. Louisville 3-7 in their last 10. Ole Miss 4-1 in their last 5. You know, Louisville wasn't that good last season. Ole Miss was they were okay, as good as they could be in the West. Could definitely put up points, that's for sure. I think they're going to be able to score all over this Louisville team. Going to take Ole Miss minus 10. And for those of you that did stay, I do have a parlay for you guys right here. All right, and then we're going to close it out with a 4-team, 13-point teaser, and then a 5-team parlay. The teaser, we're going to go Florida minus 10.5, LSU plus 10, Georgia plus 16, and Bama minus 6.5. And then with the parlay, we're going to go Florida money line, Bama money line, Georgia plus 13.5 on the alternate spread, A&M money line, and the Arkansas money line. And that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Saturday. And I'll see you guys Sunday. Have a good one.